What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Team Master, episode 94.
I can still take it out.
I know you can take it out.
I'm going to take it out every time you do it.
I'm your host, Joe. As always, I'm joined by Charlie.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Tom.
Hi.
And Tom's here.
Fuck you, Joe.
What?
So
I was very upset that you ended
I'm
it out
going
last
to
week.
now try to tell my story
Okay.
because we tried twice now. It just didn't work. I think the world doesn't want this story to get out. But it was a very surreal experience. So I had my very own Resident Evil 7 experience at work. A homeless vagrant. We get a few of them to hang around the store. A lot of them are very nice. But this guy, he's come around. He's given us some trouble before. He came into the store. He stole some bleach, went into the men's bathroom, and took what's called a bleach bath. Now,
no.
I didn't know this was a thing, but
What?
a bleach bath is where you take off all your clothes and rub bleach all over your body and let you inhale it through your pores.
Yes.
So
That's a scientific thing.
So the guy comes out of the bathroom, cut his face, he looked like he had white face on. He was already white though.
Yeah.
Comes out of the bathroom covered in bleach and starts fucking shouting and cursing. He's like, "Fuck this, fuck."
Damn, Target couldn't even get me the right bleach.
And then, so he's leaving the store, and I would stepped outside, and I was standing out there, and the guy is just shouting at families, walking to families, he's like, "You can all go fuck yourself." And I was like, "Sir, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'll fucking kill you."
Jesus.
And I'm like, "All right."
Wow.
And then as he's walking away, he turns to me and he shouts, "Don't wake the grave walkers." And then rode his bike away.
So that is going to be the guy who is Negan when the apocalypse comes. Like that dude's ready to go.
But if there's one message that's going to stick with me through the rest of my life, it's don't wake the grave walkers.
Oh God, that's fucking sounds like
Told
a line
to
out
me
of a
by the
Stephen
man
King
covered
book.
to me in bleach.
I mean, it makes sense, I
But yeah.
guess.
Harassing
Crazy.
families outside of a Target.
I feel like part of me thinks this might have just been PR from Capcom marketing Resident Evil 7. But at the same time, the area where I work and kind of some of the residents in the area, I'm not shocked that would happen.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
That's horrifying.
So that happened.
Well, this isn't your homeless bleach covered podcast. This
Can
is
be.
well, it can be, I guess, some
You're into
weeks.
that.
Choose not to.
Honestly, that was better than some of the weird openings that we've gotten from you in the past. So,
That's true.
Oh boy.
this is our weekly video game podcast. Get
Dicks on your
together.
knees, right?
Oh, Jesus. See, there he goes again. Our weekly video game podcast. Get together every single week, talk about games. We have a good show this week.
Do we?
I think so.
I'm not convinced.
I took
It's a
I
pretty-
took time
I
to
took-
plan this one out.
I took a gander there at the notes. It's pretty loaded. It's a pretty
Yeah.
meaty show.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a good
Okay.
hefty one.
It
But
sounds good.
let's start with what we've been playing. And since Charlie's the only one, no, Tom, because Tom actually played a new game.
Yeah, I did.
So, Tom, what have you been up to this week?
I got Gravity Rush 2. Really enjoying the hell out of it. I was gushed about the first game to death and how much I loved it, and getting the platinum and whatnot. Gravity Rush 2 is more Gravity Rush, for better and for worse. It makes the things I loved about the first game better. The first game had a very vibrant art style. This expands that. It expands the color palette greatly because it's not tied specifically to the Vita.
Yeah.
The city you're in, I think it's a weird name. It's like Jaraga Parlo, is huge. And you don't get the full scale of the city until you're flying around the main area and you're like, the main area is the size of the 3 islands in Gravity Rush 1 combined.
Mine? Okay.
And then you're like, wow, that's big. And then what you don't realize is that the city is layered. So when you decide you're flying around and you decide to fall and you fall through the atmosphere for about 30 seconds, you find there's a whole undercity where the poor people live. And then same difference if you fall upwards. If you fly upwards for about 30 seconds, you find the mansion district where all the rich people live. And then if you fly another 30 seconds upward from that, you find the military prison area. It's huge.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm shocked that Sony didn't. I'm not surprised that this game didn't get more marketing than it did, though I do feel like it deserved it because it looks like it had money put into it from the gorgeous art style, but just the size and just variety present to you in the city, and then that size and variety combined with what I love about Gravity Rush, so flying around and sticking on buildings. It really makes it just a joy to explore and a joy to go find gems. That was one thing loved about the first game was just flying around aimlessly and finding these gems. There's not a whole lot of like the plot. Everything that's there is great. There's not a whole lot of exposition as to why you're in the conundrum you're in. You start in like some mining village, some mining facility.
I heard the opening to the game was really weird.
It's good. It's weird, but it's cool. It's slower paced, but when it kicks up and you realize what it is, it's actually really neat.
Oh, okay.
But they don't really give you context for how the characters got to that point unless you watch the 2-part anime that Sony put out. The Anime
Jesus,
Rush.
what is with this?
I almost said Anime Rush.
What is this, Quantum Break?
The Gravity Rush Overture. So I watched that, and then you get your context. But it's just weird that they would throw these characters into this spot and then not just give you that like
That has
what
to stop
would have
being
been
a
like
thing.
a 2-minute long cutscene to give you the context as to why they're there. But from that point, like the plot really picks up and it's good. Like as someone who loves the characters of Gravity Rush, who loves Kat, and is really invested in that world, like it's cool to see like this extra development given to these characters. And like Kat was always charming and likable, but they up that immensely in this game where like someone will be talking to her, and of course it's the comic panel cutscenes, and they use the fake made up Japanese French, which I think is actually kind of neat. But like where someone will be talking normally and then she just like shouts at them like randomly. Like someone will be talking in a normal voice, be like, "Hey, Kat, can you go do this?" She'll be like, "A fucking course, I got it," and she just gets really excited. She's such, and I said this when I was playing the first game. She's such an immensely likable character, and that goes back to Sony not marketing these games. It almost feels like a waste of a potential like really good mascot for them. That these games don't get more credit. That Sony doesn't really put a spotlight on them. It almost feels like an Until Dawn type of situation.
Well, this game I feel like it was weird for them just because it was originally announced as a Vita, like a follow on the Vita, and then obviously they ditched that and just made the PS4 version. So I wonder if that comes.
No, I don't think there was a Vita version of the second one ever announced. I think it was it was always PS4 only.
No, at a Tokyo Game Show they showed the logo with the Vita thing on it.
Oh,
and, like
okay.
years ago. This is before anything like it was actually even shown in the game. They just had Gravity Days 2 like pop up on like their Vita highlight reel. And then when it was officially shown off, it's just on PS4. So I wonder if they just thought like because they were already working on it, just get it out and really not do anything with it. I feel like because it just seems like,
which is a shame because like there's so much potential in this world. Now, I'm not far in the story, but from what I read, this wraps everything up perfectly so that you're not left with more questions because they probably knew this would be the last Gravity Rush game. But at the same time, it does feel like a waste of a potentially really good mascot. And I know she was in PlayStation All-Stars, but like, what the fuck does that even count for? You know what I mean?
I think the only thing you can take solace in is like it was a great arc and it ended.
Yeah, no,
and like possibly they're not going to go and fuck with it.
And I'd like to see. I can't wait to see the ending so I can know how it ends and like know like where these characters end up. But I'm glad to at least know it does give the series some sort of closure. I had mentioned earlier that this brings over some of the things I didn't like about the first game, and they're present in full force. The side quests, like the first game, aren't particularly interesting.
Okay.
And in the first game, I let it pass because I thought this was the first game. It's originally on Vita. I understand why these side quests can't be more than they already are. But in the second one, where they have the extra budget and time and everything, like they put that into other things, but the side quests really suffer where it is just usually here, go talk to this guy, now do this gravity thing with a time limit. It almost feels like every
exactly what you're
side
talking
mission
about.
has a time limit. And I like the gameplay enough to the point where like I do them, it just to at least check them off the list. And there's a lot more in this game. The map is so much bigger and there's so much more. So that's been kind of halted my progress in the story, has been getting all the side missions done. But there's a lot, it just feels like it's a lot of do this fetch quest with this time limit or fight off all these people within this time limit. And with the game generally plays well, like the gravity, the mechanics, everything usually goes well, but when it doesn't, and there are times where it doesn't on those time missions and they'll really fuck you up. Like, you're like this close to getting it done and you have like maybe 5 seconds left and you're about to do it. And then the camera decided it was going to throw you across the map. And now suddenly, fuck, you failed the mission. Do it again. And that was an issue in the first game too, where the camera doesn't always keep up with the action very well. But in this game where there is so much more going on, it feels like it's a little worse. And for a lot of these very time intensive side missions, it makes them very hard to do, to like borderline a pain in the ass to do. Admittedly, though, I haven't played as much Gravity Rush 2 as I would have liked to, because right now I'm at a point where the only thing I want to play, and I'm really enjoying Gravity Rush 2, but the only thing I really want to play is Skyrim. So I'll play maybe 30 minutes of Gravity Rush 2 and then 2 hours of Skyrim. Because like that's just where I am right now. That's what I want to do. And like it's almost a bummer when we have so many new games coming out, you know. Switch is coming out.
It'll be a new game again, Tom.
Gravity Rush and you know, Resident Evil, but Horizon, Zelda, you know, when I get to those eventually, but like that I am just stuck on a 6-year-old game that I want to keep going back and playing, and I want to keep min-maxing. I ran around because I'm not using mods or cheats or anything, so I ran around just casting Muffle on myself constantly to get my illusion up to gain like 5 levels in the span of like 20 minutes, and just finding ways to min-max and power grind and power level. It's
I actually came across
something I enjoy doing immensely. And from what I've talked about when I play RPGs before, I think, you know, the listeners and you guys know that.
I came across a guy on Twitch that he was on like a pop up on the main page. I was just clicking around because I found one that was very cringeworthy to listen to, and then I found another one that I clicked on the next thing, and it was I was reading his description. The dude streams 5 days a week, only plays Skyrim.
Okay.
And then switches. He does like a community vote on Friday, and then that Monday he starts the game over with like that like the character they voted on with the
the build. And
the build and everything.
He starts a new character every week.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and he just plays to the. I'm like, that's insane.
Do you like? Hey, this guy was on the front page.
Yeah, he was on the front page.
His full time job. Is
yeah,
play video
pretty
games.
much. I was clicking. I was like, "That's you know what? Good for you."
If someone's gonna
Yeah.
pay me to play Skyrim, I'd fucking do it.
Yeah, so
But
it was just interesting to see.
But like I was saying, like there also are so many new games coming out that I feel almost guilty,
Yeah,
like not putting as much time into them, like Gravity Rush, as they should be, and just fucking wasting my time away with Skyrim.
Just a good game.
It is, you know, time. It's aged well. And Gravity Rush 2 is excellent. I can't wait till I'm at a point where I'm sick of Skyrim and I actually get to put more time into it.
so we'll hear more about Gravity Rush 2 in next January probably.
Well, probably by the end of the month. I want to say
Yeah.
I'll probably have beaten it by the end of the month.
Yeah. I actually played something new this week. Just not Time Clickers
Did
in
you?
Rocket League. Yeah, I played the beta for Halo Wars. The Halo Wars Blitz beta.
Halo Wars 2?
Yes.
Oh,
Halo Wars
okay.
2 Blitz beta.
He dug up a beta copy
of the original Halo Wars, and I was like, let me play.
Could you imagine if you could do that? If you can get back it, if there was like ever a way to get back into betas and play an old fucking beta code?
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be
Like
just,
the Halo 3 beta.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That would be fun to open up.
yeah, so I opened it up. They give you the tutorial. Now, this is only the Blitz mode, and the Blitz mode is their new game mode. It's basically their how do we make money off this game mode, and it's essentially a card deck. You pick your character, and your general that you pick is basically decides what kind of cards you start with.
Oh, I'm shocked there's a card deck.
Yeah, so obviously, because it's only the beta, you're kind of given just everything. So it's not known how you to purchase more cards, how you unlock cards, like naturally throughout the game. So we don't know anything about that. But so I'm not crazy about this game mode. I don't think it's a good way to play this game, because otherwise it's still playing. This mode involves no base building, which is what I like. I like the management system of RTSs.
You don't like the card portion of RTS?
No,
Joe?
I don't like.
You have to have a way to get the cards.
No,
Because if you don't have the cards, how are people going to be able to spend upwards of $75 at a time on card packs?
it's so
how will
dumb.
Microsoft get their money?
It's just a bad mode, and also like the map you play on is very like let me explain what Blitz mode is officially. So it can either be 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or 3-on-3. They recommend everyone play 2-on-2, I guess, and so that's the mode I kept playing. And essentially, you and your teammate have to secure these 3 sections of the map, and then when you control 2 out of the 3 sections, your points start going up, and when you get to 200, you win. Now throughout
That sounds a lot like Warzone.
Okay, maybe, yeah, it might be a spin on that, like a way for them to do it in this game. And throughout the map, throughout the game, I should say, these pods will drop. When they drop, you get bonus, like, I don't know what to call them. I'll call them Halo points. You get bonus Halo points, and you could spend those Halo points on your cards that you can play.
I'm surprised they're not called like rec. Like they're not going with the rec.
They're probably
thing.
called something. I just don't remember the name of them all. So that's why I'm calling them Halo points. So throughout the whole game, you have 4 or 5 cards on your screen at all time, and as your Halo points go up,
Your Halo points. I love that.
you can spend your cards, and when you spend a card, a new card automatically gets placed in there.
Do you then get?
It's all
Do
randomized.
you then get Chief Bucks?
No.
to spend on grunt bills.
On grunt spill, yeah. So that's how like it kind of works, and just
Grunt packs.
by playing the game, you get the you would start unlocking Halo points, and then you get the bonuses from the canisters that fall on the ground. But like overall, it's like not what you play in RTS for.
No.
It's like I don't know if they want this as the mode to be streamed, or if like that's what their ultimate goal is for this mode to get out there. Because I feel like when people talk about RTSs, you talk about StarCraft, and it's not like StarCraft has some gimmicky mode. It's just fucking 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, just going at it, building up your armies and going against each other. I think that's the fun of RTS, is not quick games that can be over in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Like, that's-
So-
Their ultimate goal for that game mode is to get people to buy the card packs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying also,
well, Microsoft isn't out to make a good game, or whoever. Microsoft is out to
Well, here's the thing. I'm
to
sure
sell this thing to make
I'm
money.
I'm sure like outside of the game mode, I'm sure the game itself is gonna be great.
yeah, like it plays really fun. I wish the demo, or not demo, the beta offered something that could show you the traditional RTS mode of it.
Yeah.
Like let you just play like at least through a tutorial or something.
That was in the first beta that came out around E3. When I played that, there
when
was
you,
base building and everything.
but like
This mode in particular
Yeah.
seems like
It
them
just-
still trying to figure out
it
how
seems
to
like
gouge
their
money.
Yeah, it's like their money grab mode, their mode that they hope people stream, I guess, to encourage people to want to play the mode, to get people to buy the card. Like
Yeah.
so
it's-
is it
it's
safe to
sick.
assume that cards are going to be in every Microsoft first party release?
yeah, except I think
I think if they end up showing up in a game like Forza,
Forza doesn't
Well,
have cards. Forza has its
Forza
own.
6 had cards.
but is
It
it
did?
is it microtransaction?
You could buy. I believe you. Yes, you
Oh,
could
well,
buy
then-
more cards.
Then like there's no
Yeah.
reason to think that they wouldn't be there.
I know Horizon 3 didn't have them.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think it's sick.
I'm over the card thing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I know
Well,
it's done.
Charlie,
I know it's
you liked it in Gears, right?
sure. I mean, did it need to be there? No, but I also think that they could have done that in a way where they didn't need cards. Like Horde could have, like you could have just had a skill tree, but it's just a way for this company to monetize the game, and that's all it is.
Otherwise the game ran well, looked really nice. Like I want to play it. I just probably wait on it.
Wait for
Yeah.
like a sale.
Yeah, on the Windows
CD
Store.
keys
Good
Is,
luck.
sale.
is this
something.
developed by 343?
No, it's developed by Creative Assembly, which is
Oh,
actually a
okay.
Sega studio. So it's really weird that Microsoft was able to
I don't know why they don't
work
just.
with Sega to get one of
In-
Sega's first party studios to
interesting.
work
Yeah.
on
So I guess. So is this technically? Will this have Sega in the credits?
maybe. I mean, it's probably just a business deal where I would assume they were probably like, who makes the best RTSs? It's Creative Assembly, and they were probably like, let's try and see if we can get them. And
Interesting enough, Creative Assembly also makes the best Alien Isolations.
And
Oh,
like
yeah.
they do all of the multiplayer. They
Yeah.
don't do all of them. They do a lot of maps for all the Halo games. And I mean, like I think the lead, like
No,
no,
Oh,
no,
I
no,
know,
no.
that's
That's
not a
that's
crea-
that's not Creative Assembly. That's
what's that studio called?
I know what you're thinking, but I can't think of
Yeah.
the name. It's not Creative
I-
Assembly.
Fuck.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Certain
I just mean,
affinity.
Yeah,
yeah.
is
but I just mean,
yes,
Creative Assembly
yes.
is a weird studio where they have their pedigree in RTSs, and they're making Halo Wars 2 with this weird partnership with Sega and Microsoft. But then they also made fucking Alien Isolation, a first-person survival horror game.
And that had Sega all over those.
well,
Yeah,
credits.
that's
so-
because Creative Assembly is owned by Sega.
Yeah, but I mean, like Tom was asking if
Yeah.
that would be if Sega would be in the credits of a Halo game.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I could see.
So
I don't know.
I think
don't know.
somewhere in that long list. I mean,
Yeah, they'll pop up.
They'll pop
Because you're
up some-
I think
'cause they probably
Microsoft
own some proprietary.
Microsoft's
piece of
probably essentially
technology.
renting out part of that
Exactly,
studio
yeah.
under Sega. So yeah, but yeah, I think the game's overall probably going to be hopefully good. I mean, I
Yeah.
want it to be good. I like the first one, so I think this game mode is a weird mode to
To
even beta
made
test.
The first one? Was
a studio
wasn't-
that's closed down.
That
now.
wasn't. It was Pandemic.
No, I don't think.
No,
I don't know.
because they are
Ensemble?
closed now.
Ensemble,
That's, yeah.
Yeah, so they're. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
No,
I want
never
it to
liked
be.
RTS.
I want it to be better. Yeah. Otherwise, time clickers and Rocket League. So
That's so disgusting.
I know it's all I do. It's
Yeah.
fucking gross.
So I'll go. I'm gonna
Yeah, you go.
talk now. So I've actually left the. I was playing a lot of fucking Mario Kart,
Mhm.
and I was playing a lot of Paper Mario, and the semester has started again. So I brought them over to a friend's house because I'm there multiple times a week, and I
Yeah.
just said, you know what, I'm gonna keep these here if that's cool with you, because just having my PS4 with me is fine, and let them fucking play those games. I don't need that. I just don't need that during the semester. I don't want it really.
Mhm.
And I've got plenty of stuff on my PlayStation and stuff I still have not finished, which is Ratchet and Clank. So I'm just starting that from the beginning, and like knowing how to actually play that game is making it a lot more fun. Like,
Buy all the guns this time.
Yeah, that's exactly what
how
I'm
were you
doing.
playing it before?
I was buying one gun, I was upgrading it all the way, and then I was buying another one, and then by the time I got to the last boss, I didn't have enough things. Like, I was running out of ammo.
yeah,
And, like-
that game wants you to fucking use everything.
Yeah, and I'm starting to notice that, like, playing, like, shooting my fucking proton drum and then like wiping up with the combustor is awesome.
Mhm.
So that it's a great game, and that game actually informed my purchase on Resident Evil 7 on my PS4 because that game is sharp.
Very similar.
it's
yes.
it's no. Well, I will.
I'm
That wasn't my point.
I'm fucking with you. Continue with your point.
So that game looks so crisp, and like a lot of the games I play on Xbox just don't seem to share that quality in
Yeah.
almost anything it has.
Well, due to system limitations, or due to like
System
Halo 5
limitations.
didn't have the Halo 5 wasn't
oh
particularly
god, Halo
intensive.
5 looked terrible.
I thought
That
Halo 5
game
looked
was
fine.
checkerboardy as fuck, and it was very blurry. And so having my Xbox away, I mean, I could easily have just left my PlayStation there, but we wanted to play Gears, and that's where it was. So I decided to get it on my PS4. I mean, I extensively played the demos on my PS4, so I've kind of already got a taste for it, and I want to show some love to that thing because I shit on Microsoft. I still shit on Microsoft. They still have not done right by me personally. I don't know what's taking them so long to do everything I want. You know,
Well, you have a lot of high demands.
yes, I have a lot of high demands, like a good background music player. And
Ratchet and Resident Evil in particular on PS4 Pro look fucking astonishing. Like just the way that thing kind of like they already look great on PS4, but the way that thing like smooths out all the jaggies and stuff in the distance, yeah, it looks
jaggies.
nice.
yeah, so Resident Evil 7 is coming out tonight,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna play the shit out of it tonight.
We will have that for you guys next week. We'll be talking about it. Or Charlie will be
Yes.
talking
I'll
about
be talking about it.
because I'm
I'll be
waiting for
talking
the Switch.
Oh my fucking blood boils.
Charlie, can you imagine Resident Evil 7 with HD Rumble?
No,
Well, you
I
can.
couldn't. Yeah, you're
Can't
right.
imagine anything with HD Rumble
That
because you're not
fucking
buying a Switch.
thing probably could not play Resident Evil at
Probably not,
a
no.
high definition resolution.
At 480p.
Yeah, God. 480i, it's not even progressive. it's interlaced. Which is actually funny, speaking of interlacing, because I was for the show, I was looking up the Retron 5,
Okay, yeah.
which is a really cool piece of tech. But like their goal is like 100% compatibility with like all the games that you can play. And I was watching some reviews, and like that thing is kind of fucked up. Like a lot of games don't work. A lot of things that may use a game in a game, like a lot of fucking NES stuff.
Yeah, I know
and,
the
like
Mode
Genesis
7 stuff is wonky.
yeah, like none of that stuff works, and it does a weird thing where like you put your cartridge into it and it rips the ROM, but it basically has this anti-piracy thing where like you need the thing in it, like even though it just rips the ROM right off the cartridge.
you could always just build a Raspberry Pi too.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
Yeah.
But that thing is cool though because it's got a GBA slot and you can play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and it's got all those things,
Oh,
and
that's
it's got
really
an HDMI out. But I was also doing a lot of research into possibly like getting HDMI boards that you can mod into a NES, and like how that shit all works, and
That's
that's
a good
really
idea.
cool. And I was actually looking into you can mod these things to output RGB, which is weird. It's not like it's different than like the composite cables,
Mhm.
and it's not HDMI, but it's like the purest signal those consoles can output. And if you go and look up comparison videos between like the RGB and the composite, and even the S video, because that was a thing. I don't know if you guys ever fucked with S video.
No.
That was like an alternative. I think it was an all-in-one cable that was really. It looked like MIDI. It had like 5 or 6 pins, and it's sharp as fuck. Like the pixels are so sharp.
But we even get that from your emulator from OpenEMU when we're
Exactly,
playing.
but that's not reliable because like playing any game on your streaming device, like the tax it puts on the CPU, and then like it's good to like an often setup for streaming is like having a PC output into another PC, and like one of those computers is dedicated to streaming. So I was just thinking a lot about like streaming and improving our stuff, and like There's also some cool stuff, which led me to looking at this company called Analog, who has this thing called the Analog NT, and it is basically a NES chip inside of a fucking aluminum block, and it's $500. And all it does is play Nintendo Entertainment
No,
System
can we
games.
also plop fucking other things in there? Can we plop fucking SNES chips?
You
Or
can no. It's like it's a Nintendo Entertainment System in a luxury piece of aluminum. Like
Oh,
it's a joke.
okay.
Like for $500.
Oh,
They have
okay. I thought it was like something you could like take out.
No, see
pieces,
that like a
put back
modular
in
type
pieces.
thing. That could be cool. Actually, that's a good idea.
I was looking online. I was looking at N64s with HDMI out.
Yeah, so like
There's those are going for like $7,500.
exactly, and it's cool. Like you can do all that stuff yourself. Like the front loader NES, the top loader NES I bought was modded for composite out. So like instead of just RF, it's got
Yeah.
those colors. And it's just cool because people just understand the
They just do
technology,
this shit.
right? And they print out their own circuit board and they like, oh, this goes here, and you just boop boop boop, and you've got fucking RGB or S-Cart, which is another RGB alternative. It's just there's so much to be had from these old things.
I mean, I am like I talked about it before, but like I'm like interested in possibly building Raspberry Pi this year.
Yeah, I mean for what?
Just to stream but not stream, but just to be able to play like the entire Super Nintendo library and
So Raspberry
stream the
card is a little PCB with like an operating system on it,
yeah
and then why not just use a computer?
yeah that's true.
Like what is that? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think you can just build one connected. I'm
Well,
probably
you buy
fucking
it's a
idiot
little
right
it's
now.
a yeah. Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm like I don't understand. Like the Raspberry Pi is like a computer on a chip, and like it's got like an HDMI out, and I think you've got like an Ethernet. Like it's literally this big, and you can just people use that to make like all sorts of devices and things.
Yeah,
But you'd probably be better off just using a computer
yeah.
because
maybe.
it's not like any more authentic or anything.
We'll see.
I've been playing a lot of The Witness.
Yeah, it's not.
Just because I like the way that game makes my brain work, makes me use my brain. It's kind of like a left side, right side thing where like if I want to fucking, I'm not sure which side is in charge of handling like
Well, the left side
arithmetic-
controls the left hand.
Yes,
And the
no.
right side controls the right hand.
Actually,
that's very true.
Sometimes the right side controls the
It
penis,
controls your,
and
and
then
then the right side also controls the
left
left
side
foot.
controls your just one toe on your.
But
your
yeah,
foot.
like if I kind of the way I play my PlayStation is different than I do on my Xbox, where like I'll tend to stay in one game on my Xbox because it's just such a fucking hassle to hit that
even
guide
bother
button.
switching.
Because you got to wait like 5 seconds
Yeah.
between fucking inputs.
5 seconds, like fucking 30 minutes. Like that thing is a disaster. Waiting for the fucking guide to show up, and there's been a handful of times where I push the guide button, nothing happens, and I'm like, this shit's about to fucking crash. Hold down the button, feel the controller vibrate, but nothing is still happening.
And
So
then everything happens at once.
exactly, like I can count the amount of times that has happened on 7 hands, all 7 hands that I have. And so fuck that. And when I go on my PlayStation, turn that thing on, load up The Witness, hit the PS button, back to the menu in a snap, load up another game, and then I flip between The Witness, Ratchet and Clank, and The Last of Us in like a minute.
Yeah.
So I'd rather play there, and that's another thing that informed the purchase on PS4. The goal is a PC and a PS4.
Mhm.
That's like the ultimate goal because
Yeah.
fuck their console, fuck Microsoft's console. That thing is trash. I really don't like it.
Plus, you can just get all the games now on the PC.
Exactly.
so-
That's the plan. Where
Yeah.
they'll play well.
and,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And a Switch. Gotta have a
No.
Switch in there so you can. What else would you play Skyrim on? The best version of Skyrim.
I saw the comparisons between the Wii U version and the Switch version, and it's like it's
There was no
nothing.
Wii U. There was no
yeah,
Wii U
if
Skyrim.
you go on not Skyrim, fucking I'm talking about Zelda.
Oh, there was a difference.
There's
You
a
could tell.
difference, yeah.
I mean, nothing. I mean, I'm not saying it's
There's
like.
nothing to spend fucking $300 about.
I mean,
on
I'm
that difference.
not saying it's like. We're not having this conversation again. We did it last week,
Yeah.
But-
Man,
but Switch is going to give it to us.
yeah, it's gonna give it to you really good.
Let's take a little break, and we'll come back with some news, and then our topic of the week following that. And so we'll be right back. Hey guys, it's your host Joe. Thanks for checking out the show this week. If you haven't already, head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. We love to hear from you. Send an email to podcastdemastered@gmail.com with any comments or questions. We may even discuss your email live on the show. To stay up to date, follow us on Twitter @DmasterCast. For our live streams, you can go to twitch.tv/podcastdemastered. And lastly, our video content can be found at youtube.com/podcastdemasteredshow. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, and we are back. Let's jump into some news, guys. There was a few things this week. So this is an official news topic, but I've seen now 2 games did this, and it just continues to just show that, as we were talking about right before the break, that something weird with the Switch, because this week both Binding of Isaac and I Am Setsuna have been moved now from unknown March spring release date to release day. So they will be available March 3rd, but just because it continues, why wasn't this announced a week ago at the event?
Well, this reminds me in a lot of ways of when we were getting games announced that were coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, but no one could say dates. And I think now, by the time it took PR and marketing to catch up after the Switch event, it's only just now that these companies are able to come out and say when they're actually coming out. Yeah. I don't think it's anything more than that. I think they always intended that date, but due to like PR, like needing to say things at a specific time, and Nintendo keeping this thing under lockdown for such a long time, it just took them a while to get these dates out.
Yeah, it was just weird. I mean, those 2 games don't improve the launch lineup like whatsoever. It was just,
I was gonna say, like, who is now happy about this?
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's like 2 more options, and I was just like, it's weird not to announce it, because they were on that diagram that we were looking at last episode.
Yeah,
where they were lined up in the later March spring category. So I'm like, what? I'm like, what? It's just not lined up. It was weird. But anyway, so those 2 games are
really like Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, people are like, I was looking at gameplay. I'm like,
people are obsessed with Binding of Isaac.
Yeah. Not for me though. No. Let's jump into our first news topic, which is about Nintendo. They had the Fire Emblem Direct this week.
Now, let me ask. We should preface this before we go into this. Do any of us care about Fire Emblem?
No. So let's move on.
Fire Emblem is one of those series I've always wanted to like, and I've never actually played. Because there was Awakening on the 3DS, which was supposed to be really good, and I knew that was the one that kind of turned the series around. Because before that one came out, they were talking about possibly like this being the end of Fire Emblem. Then Awakening came out.
There was one on the Wii before that as well.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about when they were talking about Awakening. Like, this was the one where they were like, if this one isn't well, we're probably going to put this to the side. And then it's funny that a few years later, they have an entire direct around it where they announce.
I think really quick, I think the thing with Awakening was it was just right platform. I don't think anyone was looking for that on the Wii, and Fire Emblem on DS or on 3DS filled the hole that I think a lot of people who were into Advance Wars was looking for, and I think it dragged a lot of those
that
people
category, because I know the 2 that came out last year are also very were reviewed very well, and I have friends that played them that really liked them. The only reason I want to bring it up is because they announced a few things about. They announced a 3DS game, but obviously we're not going to play that. They announced a Fire Emblem game. It's a remake of one that never came to the States. So
it's Fire Emblem 2, essentially, right?
Essentially, it's called something else here now. So, but you have that coming to 3DS in May, and then they announced that they are working on a proper Fire Emblem game for Switch, aimed for 2018. Nothing was shown of that. That's just they said, untitled project, essentially.
So like most of the Switch announcements.
Yeah. And then they showed another trailer for the Fire Emblem Warriors game, which is the
that certainly looks like a Musou.
Yeah, where we saw the trailer for it at the conference, but now they showed gameplay and they confirmed it's coming this year, later this fall. Also coming to the new 3DS, which is what the Hyrule Warriors.
There was Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, what Hyrule. And then what the main thing was about, they announced the Fire Emblem Heroes, which is their phone game. Which
looks solid,
which we knew was coming.
Actually looks really solid.
Yeah, it actually did. It's free to. This one. So this is where their strategies get weird for the Nintendo stuff, because Super Mario Run was free to download, and then you paid one price and you had the whole game after that, which didn't seem to really make a lot of people happy. Like people that didn't know what they were jumping into.
Fast.
This one is completely free to play. It's play from start to finish free.
You think that game would have been received better if it was a $10 download right off the bat?
What?
Mario?
Or was
I think
it
it would
just
have been better if it was free to play.
Or like the content wasn't worth $10?
I mean, I still play it. I still like
I
it.
thought it was not great. Well, we've
So I don't-
already talked about it.
I know.
So I don't know
I know.
about that,
I was bagging on before. Like none of us really, except for Joe, like really kind of care about Fire Emblem all that much. But like that mobile game looks solid,
Yeah.
and at the great price of free, I'm definitely more tempted to try
Yeah,
it
to
out
try
for
it
even
out at
5
least,
minutes
yeah.
than I would be otherwise.
And that's coming out on February 2nd to both Android and iPhones. So there's no delay. Originally, it looked like there was going to be a delay on iPhone for some reason, and then they later confirmed.
They just have to publish it to the Android App Store 7 months in advance.
So now the only game we're waiting for is Animal Crossing, right? The only mobile game.
Yes, that's probably going to be the next one that we'll probably hear about in a few months. I wouldn't be surprised if they do an Animal Crossing Direct, like I was talking
Yeah.
about last week.
And then that's when you get your Animal Crossing Switch.
Yeah,
God, I
like
fucking
like a
hope so.
tease like that or something.
And then your mobile game. But
Yeah, so that's everything Fire Emblem. Like I said, we're not like the biggest fans. Like I want to get into it. It's just, I guess that Switch version is probably when I'll try it out. What I am happy though about is that there was rumors that it was just going to be a 3DS port of the last year's game to Switch.
No, they
and so I was
wouldn't.
happy to see that they just announced a full, like an actual new game.
that would be like a very un-Nintendo move. I know a few companies that did it.
Yeah.
Like I know like XCOM Enemy Unknown was ported completely to iOS and iPad.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Switch version. The 3DS port of the Switch version.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're talking about
That's-
mobile.
No, not the mobile. No. So next we might.
I don't know. I think that's all gonna be contingent on Pokemon Stars.
That's
Yeah.
not happening.
Well, Game Freak has said they're working on the Switch. That was a statement they made this week. So
Tembo the Badass Elephant.
It's
would-
gonna be
it's
it's gonna be
Switch.
fucking Pokemon pinball.
yeah, it's one of those
Fuck, I
things.
played that.
I mean, Poke Pinball was pretty fun. On
That
Game
was
Boy.
all right.
I wouldn't be happy though. That's the first Pokemon game announced.
I just want to say really quick before we move on.
Yes.
I can't wait till we start hearing more about Animal Crossing. And I know you had mentioned before that we're probably going to get a few directs between now and Switch
The
launch.
thing is,
but-
we might get two more. One focused on oh fuck, what was I trying to say? What was it before?
Virtual Console.
Virtual console. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. With one specifically supposed to be about the Virtual Console and how they're handling that at launch day and everything.
It's been a long time since I played an Animal Crossing game. Last one I played was New Leaf. Like I'm kind of craving another one.
It just makes my
It makes me
freaking
happy.
blood boil that you guys are just sitting here on fucking waiting on breadcrumbs. Like this is all stuff that should have been in the conference.
Nah, man.
Oh,
you
no,
gotta sparse it out.
I agree.
Like-
They should like
This whole like waiting mentality and like the fact that it's okay for them to like
Oh, I
at
agree.
E3
Trust me, I
like,
agree.
Oh, at E3 it'll be there. Oh, we're gonna get the direct. We might get the direct.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying I'm okay with. I like the Fire Emblem thing.
I just wanted to. I needed to say that. I needed.
The Fire
the-
Emblem Switch. Hold on. The Fire Emblem Switch thing should have been announced at the conference. The Warriors date and gameplay should have been shown at the conference, and then talk about the Heroes thing separate. Like,
I really don't. I don't care
Yeah.
about the Fire Emblem thing because they said that pretty after the fact. Like, there's going to be a direct, but like the fact that you does anybody know that there's going to be a direct about Virtual Console?
Well, it's rumored at this point. no?
Exactly, it's rumored.
Yeah.
I just think that is.
Well, here's
bullshit.
the thing. Here's where and God, I can't believe we're having this conversation again. But here's my stance on it. I want to play the Nintendo games. So
Yeah,
despite the Japanese mysteries and you might get a direct at this date, despite all that bullshit. And I agree, it's bullshit. I want to play the Nintendo games, so I'm going to play the Troll Toll and play the Troll game, so I can pay the
Get in that
play-
boy's hole.
so I can get the Nintendo hole.
I don't like where this is going. Let's move away from Nintendo because we might actually have some clear numbers for what Xbox One has sold now. There was Research Data Group revealed numbers in an industry report when they were talking about Switch. So somehow it's still about Nintendo. They released this data report to investors and whatnot. And in there, they claim that Microsoft has sold through 26 million systems, where Sony's now reached about 55 million.
So that's about 29
hysterical.
mil behind. That's quite the gap.
I just think it's representative.
I mean, one it goes all the way back to 2013 with the attitude about the consoles,
Yeah.
where one was games and one was media. And I mean, now I think Microsoft and like this is like, it's weird to see those numbers because it's just like, even like people are always guesstimating with Xbox, and it's weird to see actual numbers
Yeah.
and to see actually see that
Huge divide.
where it's just not there's
There's not a chance in hell they're ever gonna. I mean, like it's not even about catching up or
Yeah.
or some fucking fictitious war.
They're this generation of console. They're never going to catch up. The race is done, over. It's not going to happen. Play with this. The PS4 is steamrolling. I think this thing has potential by the end of its life cycle to be close to. I don't want to say close to PS2 because that's shooting so
That's
far.
PS1 and
lot.
Wii though is
I want to
definitely
say
reachable.
I want to say it can be close by the end of this to being close to what we did, which is still fucking crazy.
100
Yeah.
million.
Microsoft in their hand, 26 million is not bad.
No.
Not a bad number, but when you compare it to fucking 55 million, that's some fucking eye-opening
Yeah.
shit.
Especially when you compare it to, I mean, that's past original Xbox. I think
Yeah.
original Xbox is around like 20 to 23, and then but it's still way behind.
What did the 360 do?
Around 80.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I think though this news can only be good for us. I think this means now that Microsoft knows, everybody knows these numbers, that it's like it's capitalism. Like they're gonna do their hardest to give us the best.
Well,
Well,
we
I mean,
will be
like-
talking about the first party lineup.
Yeah.
So let's save the Scorpio and everything because I have a question about Scorpio. I wanted to ask you guys,
Sure.
especially after knowing this. So, let's hold off on the Microsoft talk for just a few more minutes because we will get in there. I just want to hit one more news story before we jump into our topic of the week.
Sounds good.
And NPD came out. They released the best-selling games of last year, like all together. And I always like this kind of stuff. Final Fantasy, by the way, for December was the second best-selling game, right behind Call of Duty, obviously.
Okay.
That's good. Makes me happy.
Yeah. So, but for the year, this is going from 10 to 1. Final Fantasy 15 was number 10. FIFA 17 number 9. Black Ops 3 8. Overwatch 7. GTA 5 was number 6.
Surprise to no one.
Madden 17 number 5. NBA 2K 17 number
Can I
4.
make a prediction that Minecraft is number 2?
Actually, no, it's on this top 10 list.
Damn.
The Division was number 3, which I found surprising.
What?
Well, when you have like a fucking
that
13
game-
million Destiny players and that series that game takes a break from updates, they got to play something.
Yeah, I think I really because fuck, that's what made me jump into it, and
Yeah.
I ended up really liking it. Just it got busted at the end, supposedly fixed,
I
but
don't think they ever fixed it.
They're doing some
no, in the
new
latest
stuff,
in the
right?
latest update, they fixed a lot of it.
Aren't they making the Dark Zone bigger?
Yeah, they're adding a new DLC. The final DLC is coming out soon.
Do you know how the player base still is for that? Has it dropped off?
I don't think it's great, but I think people do come back to it when they hear problems have been fixed and whatnot. Because even I went to go play it on my PS4, then I remembered I don't have gold or plus.
Yeah.
So-
which is a bummer. I did that with
Yeah.
The Last of Us. I was like, fuck.
So I went to go
can't
play it.
this.
I was like, should I pay for plus? I'm like, no, I'm not paying for plus. I have no
Good.
reason to. Number 2 was Battlefield 1, and number 1, of course, was Infinite Warfare.
Battlefield 2.
So Call of Duty's still king for the year. Even if sales are slightly down, they're still slightly above everybody else.
Battlefield 1 tells me that we're hopefully, and this is what I want to do the shooter market, I think that we're hopefully going to be seeing a lot more historically set shooters.
Yeah. Notable absences from absences.
Absences.
Abstinence.
English.
Abstinence.
Not my primary language. Games missing from December list was no Dishonored 2 on there. Didn't pop up in November, so that's not a
Everybody is
surprise.
surprised.
Dishonored 2 doesn't seem to have done as
well
well
as-
as the first game did.
Dan can't defend it. I don't like that game. Titanfall 2, which did pop up on November because it went on sale for like $30 everywhere.
Yeah.
Wasn't there in December. Which means that little spike is probably done.
Yeah,
And- No
I think that game just has a problem with longevity. Like
So-
something about that gameplay is like good for about a month or two.
Well, here's the thing. I think like the people who are still into that game are still into it. I think this just all stems to fucking.
And they all
That
know each
game's-
other very
that
well
game's-
because they just keep playing
Yeah,
games
it's
together.
the same
I
20
think
people.
that game's launch problems have just fucking stayed with it, where it came out at a bad time, but just never picked up steam. So
Absolutely.
that being said, quick aside, do you guys think we get Titanfall 3? Or do you think the series is done now?
I think it's definitely deserving of a Titanfall 3. I think they did fantastic work on that thing.
I agree with-
but it just depends if they're going to go with if the reasoning behind it is going to be sales numbers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got a Mirror's Edge 2, and that also did not sell well. So
Oh God.
So yeah, I agree with you there. They also work on the Star Wars game, which we know about.
Yeah.
And basically, this is an old interview, but it was like someone was asked, I think Vince Zampella, about the future of not Resistance,
Yeah.
the future of Titanfall, and the EA representative stepped in and said we're dedicated to the Titanfall franchise, and he basically just said whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah. Right.
Like that was his quote about it. Like he doesn't even know what EA means.
well, he's probably pissed at them too.
Yeah, it was a bad release date. They probably know it, and I mean, they're still working together though, so I don't think Respawn is a fully owned. They're an EA Partners studio. They're not a fully owned EA studio. So
I
it's
just
weird.
can't wait to hear what the excuse is where, executives talking. They're like, we don't see a future in Titanfall, but it's like, oh, what's your reason?
Yeah.
Well, guys, don't worry because we all know that EA has so much faith,
A huge
strong
company.
confidence in the Nintendo Switch. So
Well, yeah, we're getting FIFA.
they're gonna sell 100 million units of Titanfall 2 when the Nintendo Switch sells 100 million units the week of launch.
But first, they
And
got to
that
sell.
will get
First, they
Titanfall
got to
3.
sell 50 million units of 360 PS3 FIFA on it.
Yeah. And the other one was Minecraft. Minecraft actually got bumped off the December list.
That is like scary. That's
That-
like the first or
The
second sign of the apocalypse.
The death of Microsoft starts now. Oh man.
They should really sell that. Like
I mean,
when I can't remember his name, but when the new CEO took over,
Phil Spencer.
no,
Head of Xbox?
no,
the head of Microsoft,
head of
Microsoft.
CEO of Microsoft,
Oh, okay.
he was really pushing for the sale of Xbox.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I
they
think,
really should have done that.
I think fucking at this point in that company, all eyes are on them because they've been having misses more than they've been having hits.
Yeah.
Like we haven't talked about it, but Gears 4 did not sell well.
No.
And Halo 5 did not do what Halo normally does. Xbox One is so far behind the competition. I think all eyes are on that division, and I think I think if Scorpio doesn't do it for them, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a world where the Xbox brand got sold off to somebody, and
I think it should be
those
sold to Phil
franchises,
Spencer.
those
Like-
franchise or a different company, but those franchises were now being sold on PC and PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Well, let's jump into the topic of the week where I kind of wanted to go over the exclusive lineup for what these systems like, what is coming out, what is rumored to be out, and like what's going on with them. So we'll start with Microsoft, where you brought it up. Scorpio is coming out this fall, and kind of bounce off what we were talking about before. And a lot of people theorize this, and the more I hear it, the more I kind of start to agree with it, especially as time goes on with games not selling well. If Scorpio can easily just be their fucking hard set reboot. This is our new console, Xbox One backwards compatibility. Just throw it out there, like what they did with the 360.
Now, Joe,
when
do you think Scorpio is Xbox One anywhere in its name?
no, if they're smart, they don't brand it Xbox One at all. And well, I mean, if it is a new, if that's what it actually is, if it is secretly not secretly, but like it is their next console. It's not an
Yeah.
Xbox One.
It's not a half step.
It's not an Xbox One Pro. It is the next Xbox. Period. That is what I'm interested in to see them play with this year, because this year this is the games that we know for a fact Microsoft is working on. Halo Wars 2, obviously that comes out soon, and then after that it's kind of unknown because we have Crackdown 3. There's Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2. Voodoo Vince HD, and this is how far I was trying to find Microsoft exclusives that are been announced in the work. Obviously, there's going to be Forza this year, and then also they keep backing up that the Phantom Dust HD is happening still.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Well,
Which-
I know Phil Spencer tweeted, to kind of quell fears that like, hey, I played it, it's good. I don't know if until I see gameplay, and I'm sure we'll see it at E3. Hopefully, we'll see it at E3. At this point, I'm not convinced Crackdown is a thing.
Yeah, that's
That
weird.
game has been quiet for such a long time.
It's kind of scary almost.
It's as if it almost got moved to Scorpio.
Yeah, I mean, so like,
Well, I mean, that wouldn't shock me. Like the tech. Do you guys remember the tech they were pushing with
We're using the
Crackdown,
power
which
of the
was
cloud.
yeah,
it was using the power of the cloud for fucking insane levels of physics-based destruction, which was admittedly impressive. You look at videos of that thing; they're bringing down entire fucking skyscrapers with players in them, and those skyscrapers knocking out of their buildings. That's just shit you can't do on the Xbox One without some kind of backup. And it was the power of the cloud, but obviously the talk of that has died down immensely. So it could be that this thing has been pushed to really be maybe the showcase title for Scorpio. Maybe they're going to show, hey, this is all running natively on a Scorpio, and the fucking Crackdown agent knocks down 3 buildings.
yeah. So like at large, there's a couple problems with going the full step versus the half step, which is like the first clear problem is like, oh, these are Scorpio games and these are Xbox One games.
I mean, they've done it before,
And then, like, so if that's the case, then like this thing is like off the bat 100% backwards compatible with all Xbox One titles.
I mean,
like,
they talked about the removing of generations for a long time now.
Yeah.
And the reason I say like I wouldn't be surprised is because Microsoft did do this in the past with the Xbox to 360.
Yeah.
Where they came out early and they came out fucking hard and fast with the 360 they could never reach what PS2 was doing, and they knew they needed to get the head start on Sony for the next generation.
Yeah.
So that's why it wouldn't surprise me if they take that Phil Spencer, who was there for that transition, it like takes that mentality of let's fucking hit them out of the gate first, and then so when with our next generation consoles, it's ours is the better
But
one.
at the same time, they can't fucking tout this thing. If they're talking about removing of generations, I don't think at this point right now they can tout this thing as we're starting the next generation, because I don't think they get to decide when the next generation starts. You know what I mean?
I mean,
And also like they can't down talk the Xbox One. So 26 million people still have Xbox One. So
Yeah.
they can't necessarily down talk those people and downplay the Xbox One. They everything they show, they have to say
This is an
Scorpio,
addition to
Xbox One,
Yeah.
PC.
exactly.
That's gonna have to be on everything. I don't know. Like people are talking. I don't think you're necessarily gonna get Scorpio exclusive titles. I don't think Crackdown 3 is going to be Scorpio exclusive. I don't think anything is going to be. I think the version Xbox One gets is going to be scaled back and watered down considerably. But like I think everything they're putting out is going to have to run across all three platforms that
Yeah.
they're supporting.
And
I just
that's
think-
when quality starts to take a really hard dip.
That-
But
like,
this
that's what
is
I
the
was about
corner
to say,
This is
though.
the corner they got themselves into.
yeah.
that's why I say you fucking cut the dead fat off the side, which is your Xbox
the
One.
26 mil.
You can't, because that's 26 million of dead fat. You know what I mean?
This is what I keep saying. They did it before. They fucking dropped the hammer on the original Xbox, which had 6 million less people with 20
Yeah.
million, and we're just like, nope, you're moving on. And
I
But that
like
was,
that.
But
though.
that was
and then think
But
about how
that-
successful the 360 was.
no. Look, like a year doesn't make a huge difference, but that was 5 years into the cycle, not 4 years. You know what I mean?
True.
I mean,
I just want to say, like, I think that consoles is not something that can be sold like this. Like, I don't think.
Well, originally that was the whole appeal of consoles, right? The whole
Yeah.
appeal was that you got the console, you put the thing in, it worked. Years later, that's not really how it works anymore. Consoles now are essentially just fucking Steam machines.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously they don't run Steam, but
Yeah.
like to put it in layman's terms, like they are just
It's just a
fucking
conduit to get to a little store that sells dinky games you can get on
that
PC.
they are PCs that they put into a box and, you know, at varying levels of quality. So like, yeah, they're still touting these things like consoles, but they're essentially fucking PCs now.
I mean, think about this. This whole like when anybody talks about it, they go right to the phone thing, and like, so think about like how that has affected our games. All of our games are now like laden with microtransactions that, you know, were first found in phones, and so now they think, I don't know where. I guess it was so popular on mobile, and like it's so, like millions and millions and millions of phones could sell every year.
Mhm.
So somebody in the console business got that idea, like that we can do that and like that can work for us.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's working. I don't think we haven't gotten any better. Like I can't say like, yeah, this is happening. Like this is for sure. I'm just looking at like trends and like the way games have decided to pick up like this whole card thing.
yeah.
And like how like we're starting to get mid-cycle upgrades. Like mid-cycle, when did that phrase become something that was relevant to consoles? It was like, that is a term, like a cycle is something you use for a phone. Like
Like, it used to be
things that are sold like
like
that.
you used to hear hardware refresh, which
Yeah.
is I
Yeah.
feel like what started really. I mean, I think every system's had like a refresh of some sort.
Yeah, but this is not that,
But
though.
this is talking about because usually it just
this
looks.
is an upgrade in a generation
Yeah.
of a processor
Yeah.
or a change in architecture or a leap and bound as compared to a refresh for us. And when I say us, I mean people who play video games and are slightly aware of this level of detail. A refresh was an update in like nanometer size of CPU going from like the smaller, the more efficient in power wattage usage, and that was it. But that never affected.
No,
You
it just
never
made
got-
your box smaller.
It made your box smaller, and it made you consume like 5 less watts.
Yeah.
I also think that these hardware manufacturers are well aware that they can't have what happened last generation happen this generation, where the systems were around for so long, without any substantial upgrades, and fucking software got stagnant. Games hit a point where they couldn't, there was only so much they could do, and there was only so much developers could do even on PC, because they had to fucking make it so that these games could run on, you know, at that point, ancient hardware, PS3 and Xbox 360. And I think that's something that hardware manufacturers looked at, and I think it's something they want to avoid, because I don't think they want to be in a point, especially where tech is evolving so fucking rapidly, and VR is a fucking thing that these publishers or these manufacturers would eventually like to have their boxes be able to do. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's really the driving goal, more so than like appeal to the iPhone idea of, you know, mid-cycle upgrades. I think they want to be able to have their boxes or some form of their boxes play something at relatively high settings, you know, be able to run VR, be able to have these developers not be held back by, you know, like what the main consoles are doing.
Yeah. I specifically I think, you know, Sony is in like the perfect spot where like they have so many of those consoles sold and those games only run on there, but Microsoft is in this really shitty position where they have this Play Anywhere initiative, and I would rather put all that money into a PC that like I can not have to scrap the whole PC every 4 years, but every 4 years, or fuck it, every year
But at
or
the
every
same
2
time-
years, I can just swap out my graphics card, and then why would I fucking
At the
get
same
an
time,
Xbox?
while we want that, they're gonna be not, you know, children are, you know, are primarily demographic for consoles, but
Yeah.
also, you
I
know,
forgot
like
to
also
add in
like
that-
working families, and like, you know, like maybe parents who don't have as much time to play games, but you do get people who aren't hardcore enthusiasts, and you do get people who are hardcore enthusiasts who just don't have any desire to play on a PC, and to them the console is the best option. So to them, the Scorpio is a very enticing concept that they are going to be able to get new games and get their games running better. You know,
I was
I know for
just
me,
gonna preface
right now-
like I was gonna say like I am growing cynical and like
I
me,
think,
not
I,
like
I think
not-
we're all growing cynical.
I don't mean to say like that is the average consumer shares this ideal. I mean like from my perspective, I'm never gonna buy an Xbox ever again.
I can say like I'm pretty in the know. Like, but even me, like someone who is an informed consumer, someone who is a little more in the hardcore market, like I'm not entirely sold on a PC yet, and honestly, and I'm fine buying consoles every couple of years.
Yeah.
That's still the boat I'm in. Realistically, I'll probably buy a Scorpio at the end of this year. You know what I mean? Like I'm not fully in the boat yet where I moved on. I think there are a lot of people like me with that mindset. So I think they still have some legs in the console market for that reason. We should talk more about the games though, because I feel like that kind of got overshadowed.
Well, something I wanted to bring up was, so we went over the games that are announced, but then one of the things that came out right after the Scalebound episode that we recorded was this huge thing from the studio in Florida that Microsoft went to make the Phantom Dust reboot that they were going to do. So,
that article was out for a while.
yeah, but it got repushed again when this all broke about Scalebound, and it was all the shittiness that Microsoft showed the studio, where they were given a budget. It was supposed to be multiplayer only, and they're like, all right, yeah, we can do that. Like, under this budget, that makes sense. Like, we'll figure it out. We'll hit these goals for you and whatnot. And then apparently Microsoft went back to him and said, we'll add a single player campaign, or can we keep the same budget? And they said, the director of the studio was like, we're still a new studio. We kind of want to prove ourselves. So we really don't want to be like demanding more money. So he's like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Even though it was causing all this stress on the entire team. And then like stuff where they did an interview and they're like, yeah, it's a 150-hour JRPG. And the studio director's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then they showed the trailer and they're like, we had no idea they were even showing the trailer. We had no idea they were announcing this game. He's like, they wouldn't even announce that we were the ones developing for it. So they're keeping us out of the way. And then they started asking for more money to make it. And that's when Microsoft pulled the plug on the studio. And that's when they went to the HD remake now of the original instead of the full-on reboot.
Also, like, I mean, first of all, it's shit what happened in that studio. It's shit what happened in Platinum. There's an issue here. Microsoft is treating third-party developers fucking poorly. And this has been shown time and time again now. We have this on record.
Also goes back
but I
to
also
Obsidian
think-
back in 2012 too.
Yeah,
They
no.
canceled a game on them, almost shut down the studio.
That's true. Microsoft has, you know, they have a fucking poor track record with third-party relations. It's funny we compare that to Sony, who has a fucking great track record with that shit. But
Well, even look
I
at
almost-
Rise.
I almost think-
sorry.
and I'm not trying to defend them, but I'm saying for something like Phantom Dust, I think the HD remake is probably smarter
Oh, yeah,
than going
definitely.
all in on a new game, because that thing, let's be honest, that game's not going to sell
No.
well. Like, it's going to appeal to enthusiasts. I'd like to play it at some point, but it's not going to fucking light the world on fire. And Microsoft's in a position now where their fucking core franchises aren't even selling what it used to, let alone fucking Phantom Dust or Scalebound. Everyone says they want Microsoft to be less risky. I 100% think they should, but I think they should be looking smaller. I think ReCore was a good example of something, maybe it didn't make its budget back, maybe it did, but something that was made on a smaller budget, put out. I think Microsoft should be doing what PlayStation was doing when they were lagging behind last generation, which is putting out smaller, experimental exclusives, really toying around with the market, giving themselves a wide, diverse library of games. And that's what I'd like. That I would like Scorpio, Xbox One, whatever combination this is, within the coming year. And they have been doing it this generation with games like Sunset Overdrive and Ori. I would like to see more of that creativity, more of, like smaller scale, smaller budget titles, just showing that they're not afraid to take risks. Because I think that's what they need to show right now. And I think, quick prediction for this E3, you're not going to see one CG trailer from them. Because people have been throwing the E3 2014 thing where 3 of those fucking games were canceled right back in their face. I think everything you see from them at this year's E3 is going to be all gameplay.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of powered by Scorpio tags on the bottom of those too?
Yeah, I think you're going to see playing on Scorpio. Like, I think that's going to be the tagline.
I feel like there's going to be a few demos where it's going to be like, oh, here's Bill on his Xbox One, and there's Ted on his fucking Scorpio.
But the key thing there is, I think, gameplay. I think they're going to show fucking gameplay because they don't think they can get away with CG trailers after what happened, because now all eyes are on them.
The other thing I have written down about Microsoft, and before we move on to Sony real quick to end it, was like the games that they could be possibly showing. You could see a Halo 6 teaser like this year at some point, because I mean they did it with Guardians. They teased it a long while out.
I think I think it's likely you get Halo 6 this year, like you got Master Chief Collection 2014. Actually, can I throw a quick little
sure
doodad in there?
Okay.
E3 2014, Halo 3 Anniversary is announced. It is a $30
DLC upgrade to the Master Chef Collection.
Yeah,
that would be
it is a $29.99 upgrade to the Master Chief Collection if you own it. $60 purchase.
Did you say 2014, by the way?
Yeah, he said he meant 2016.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. But I think I look, whatever. I'm coming with bullshit predictions. I don't know what I'm talking about with the money.
No,
I
think
I realized afterward, but
the only problem with the Master Chief Collection, I feel like that kind of put them in a corner of it's hard for them to announce any Halo game getting a reboot like that.
Let me alter that. Fuck the Master Chief Collection. I'm not gonna say anything about that ever again because that was a mess. I still haven't even fucking fixed it. But I do think you get Halo 3 Anniversary announced this year. Running on whatever engine
can they
they're
release
using.
that as a standalone?
Yeah, that's the
what?
only problem. They made so much value. They devalued a standalone Halo, like an old standalone Halo game 1 through 4.
Like I could see maybe if you pre-order the $89.99 version of Halo 6, you get 3 as a free DLC.
Or maybe like Halo Anniversary update to Master Chief Collection, even though I said they probably won't ever mention it again.
Like it's
I
so
don't think
weird.
they will.
It's-
I don't think they will.
Now this has me going on something. It's so weird because everyone wanted the Marcus Phoenix collection with the have 1, 2, and 3. It's actually weird because like now it's hard to go back and re-release any of the old Halo games standalone at a higher price point like that, because you have a whole collection where you're just like it seems devalued almost because they made that collection.
Yeah.
Where the Marcus Phoenix collection everyone wanted ended up only being Gears 1 to a point where they could come out and just release Gears 2 and people would be like, fuck yeah, because it's not available like that.
But you can't do it because Gears 1 standard 360 is also available back and pat.
I
I think you can do. I think you can have Halo 3 Anniversary as its own separate thing, and then also have standard Halo 3 on Xbox. On Master
It'd
Chief
be easier
Collection.
for me to spend, say, $40.
Yeah.
It would be easier for me to find myself spending $40 on a Gears 2 completely remaster over if they were to announce a Halo 3 remaster, only because of the Master Chief Collection.
$40 for Halo 3
Well,
Anniversary.
I was just saying because I think that's.
I would laugh.
I was going off the price of Gears Ultimate Edition. I think it was 40.
Or fuck, maybe they throw people a bone and say, "Hey, we fucked this up. Here's a free fucking anniversary update for Halo 3."
Well, it's not like they fixed it though.
They fucked up.
Yeah.
It's just been so like Yeah, you know what? Like, it's better
Whatever.
off just don't
Yeah.
ever do that.
Yeah, I
You
think
know, like,
Whatever. That horse is so fucking beaten at this point. It's a
like,
fucking skeleton.
exactly. Like,
Well,
it should just be a skeleton.
It's a skeleton horse.
Now I just want to say, so Xbox, and this is Xbox's strategy compared to Sony strategy, where Microsoft is very much like the next 6 to 12 months of games coming out. When they announce stuff at E3, it's usually more of what's coming out in the immediate future, not the far off.
Uh-huh.
So this is everything Sony has lined up, announced, and this does not include a lot of Japanese games, which are only PS4 because Xbox One sells like crap over in Japan, so it's
Yeah.
not even worth bringing over. You have Horizon, obviously coming out very soon.
1 month
Yeah,
from
we just had
tomorrow.
Gravity Rush 2.
Yeah.
That's another one I want to mention. So in the first 2 months, you have 2. Gran Turismo Sport is eventually coming out. Dreams probably canceled, but it's still technically coming out.
I told you what I think happens
yeah.
to Dreams.
Then you have God of War, Final Fantasy VII Part 1, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, Knack 2, Spider-Man, Days Gone, Crash Trilogy, Detroit, and Ni no Kuni 2.
I think it's safe to assume that we know the lineup for the foreseeable future of the
least-
PS4's lifespan.
You could spread this over the course of 3 years and be good.
I think
Yeah.
I think we know everything they're doing now up until PS5. I think
Yeah.
outside of Sucker Punch, we pretty
And
much
that was the one thing I was like,
we know. I think it's safe to assume we know everything. Like those games are probably going to be spread out within the course of like 2 or 3 years. I think we know what's coming out till PS5.
It kind of makes Microsoft feel like a sham.
well, that's the other thing is like if they're waiting for Scorpio to announce their future plans, like that makes sense at that point.
Yeah.
Like odds
Um,
are, Death Stranding and Last of Us 2 are swan songs for the PS4.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be,
I think this year, I think this year we see Gran Turismo as the big holiday game, and then like we got our 3
oh
exclusives this
man, I
year.
would hope not.
I think that game's development was very troubled. They obviously you won't probably talk about it, you won't hear about a lot about it, but that was supposed to be out last year. I think it's
Yeah.
a similar Drive Club situation, ironically
you just
enough.
can't do race games.
But Gran Turismo.
Well, Knack 2 is also scheduled for this year.
Yeah, but Gran Turismo historically sells well. That game does. 6 didn't do well because it came out on PS3 when the
Console
PS4 came
transition,
out.
yeah.
That game's going to sell PS4s. It's going to sell well. That's why I think it'd be wise to move that into the holiday slot, and that way, beginning of the year, you have Gravity Rush 2 and Horizon, and then towards the end of the year, you have
I'm
Knack
so
2
pumped for
and
Horizon.
you have Knack 2 and Gran Turismo, and you can fit Knack 2 comfortably into that September spot, and it might early September spot, and it might do okay.
I honestly, after reading that lineup, I think there's a pretty good possibility they could hit like Wii numbers.
Yeah, it's just because, like, and granted, now one of our things about it's so weird because one of the complaints I feel like we've made on the show about the first few years of PS4 and Xbox One, where Xbox One constantly had games coming out, where PS4 was they would announce a game, it would get delayed. Usually, nothing in the
Yeah.
holiday would come out, and like even Horizon was
it's-
delayed till
It's
February.
still a problem Sony has
Yeah.
where they're announcing games fucking 2-3 years out.
Yeah, but it's like this feels like the first time where you have it feels like the lineup is filled out, where like unless 2018 comes and like only one of those games come out, like
Yeah.
then that's an issue. Where it feels like at the end of 2017 it looks like you can be healthy, 2018 you can be healthy, and
2018, you probably
2019
get
you can be
Days
healthy.
Gone, God of War, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, like I mean, and that's fucking
And
killer.
then
Yeah.
2019,
Last of Us
ideally
Part
you get
2.
Last of Us and Death Stranding.
Yeah, and
Oh,
like
and those 2 games alone,
yeah, that
like in
Well,
2019,
that being said, now that's a fucking solid killer. And of course, we have to fit Sucker Punch's game in there
yeah,
somewhere.
whatever their new IP or Infamous or whatever they're working on is.
Maybe we even get that this year. Who knows? They've been quiet for long enough. But at the same time, while that is impressive, it's also a very far cry from 2012, 2011 PS3, where we're getting a fucking exclusive a month.
Well, yeah, but that also didn't work for them.
It didn't, but at the same time,
Some would say they had too many exclusives.
at the same time, it's got of course the third parties are the bread and butter of these machines, so they're gonna fill out the lineup. But it's also sucks that you got to wait so long between first party exclusives now,
Yeah.
and that's just like we talked about before. That's the price of game development being fucking a 100 million plus thing now.
Yeah.
I think they feel very secure in their future with.
Yeah.
I think I don't think they're gonna do much sweating, and like you said, unless these games get delayed to the stratosphere.
Oh, and they're not afraid to delay them.
yeah, no.
I'm still, even though we're so close, I'm still not convinced that Horizon
comes out
hits
next
its
month.
February date. I could
Yeah, I'm
see
fine.
fucking January like 29th, January 30th, something. They're like, can't wait to put out Horizon. We're proud to announce Horizon
March 3rd.
Zero
March
Dawn.
we had to delay it 3 days
No,
for extra
April.
polish.
April. I could see that being pushed to April.
No,
There's no way.
I want to be proven wrong,
We'll
but I've
be-
been hurt so much.
We're no soon because Halo Wars 2 just went gold, and that's coming out mid-February. So within the
Okay.
next week or two, we'll
Oh
probably be
no,
hearing
they're
about.
gonna
We'll hear
scare
about
off.
Horizon.
I don't know. Their
Those-
thing seems to be announce the delay like a month before it comes out. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll be hearing about it. I don't think.
Tomorrow
I think
will
it's
be
fine,
a
though.
month. It's is it 28th or 24th?
28th.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
in the meantime, buy Gravity Rush 2 and buy Yakuza 0.
Oh yeah, Yakuza Zero's out.
Buy
That's one of
Hatsune
those-
Miku.
Yeah, so it feels like. I mean, I think Microsoft is just.
In
I don't want to
limbo.
come off like we're just bashing them. I mean, like it comes out
Well,
of.
we're calling them out though.
It comes
you
out
know?
of from a place of love because I do
Yeah.
like those games.
Well,
Obviously,
exactly. That's where
Gears 4 was fucking awesome
it
last
was
year,
great.
and like I loved playing it, and like
I fucking love Halo still.
yeah, and like
I'm
I
gonna
can't-
play
Halo's
fucking
a
Halo
thing,
6.
but like if it's one of those things where they start taking away the play anywhere option, I'll be like, well,
Oh, well,
fuck
yeah,
you. Like,
well, no,
if-
that's
if-
how they,
if
they're,
you start
they're
going,
dug in.
yeah,
now.
like they're dug into it. To a point, if they start going back, then they lose me. That's how
Exactly.
That's
I
how it is
kind of
because I don't- I
love
don't-
the fact that they're stuck
I-
on the play anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm
thing.
so excited about what Sony's doing. I always get fucking excited about Xbox exclusives because I fucking love Xbox games. Outside of Gears, I'm not crazy about Gears. I fucking love Halo and Forza. You know, I was a big fan of Fable. I have a real soft spot for Crackdown. And they have Rares. I can't wait to play Sea of Thieves, and I want to see what else Rare is doing. And they have access to all those IP. I think Microsoft has the potential to really fucking excite the hell out of us with exclusive first-party games. And they have done that to an extent this generation. I want to see them do more of it. I want to see more Risk. I want to see more of the Sunset Overdrive type games. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
Well,
don't because I didn't like that game,
Oh,
but I
I
understand
did
your
like-
sentiment.
Yeah.
I liked that one. Let's wrap up episode 94.
Good. I'm hungry.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening. You can get in contact with us, Twitter @DMasterCast, email podcastdmaster@gmail.com. Love to hear from you guys. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week, episode 95. Charlie will have Resident Evil. I almost said Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 7.
I love that game.
And